Oh, there it goes. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Toast to you and all you do. Hi, it's Tara. I'm here live today. I had asked earlier if there was something we should talk about, and someone suggested, sorry, I'm really bad with names, and I can't look. I should have wrote it down. But she made the suggestion that we talk about all of the crazy things that are going on astrologically right now. And I thought that's a great idea because there's a lot going on. So much so that I had to take a minute and write a bunch of stuff down because I wasn't going to be able to just remember it. So I have several sheets of paper so we can talk about this. It's also, there's forest fire not far from my house. So you might notice raining ash from the sky. You can see it's a little hazy. I'm in northern Colorado, so we are having a bunch of forest fires. It's pretty devastating, to say the least, but that's not why we're here today. So our prayers go out to them, the people who are actually up there suffering, but don't be alarmed if you see the ash falling from the sky. So today, I guess that's the first big thing, is Mercury goes into retrograde today. This is always such a big deal. It's always a headline, big topic, way out in the front. And this is because Mercury is involved in a lot of what we do. It's involved in communication and technology and your work, productivity kind of thing, just talking to different people. That's a big part of it. So when Mercury goes into retrograde, suddenly we start to see all of the problems that we have in those areas. Like right now, I'm talking about it. I don't know if you noticed. There's a balloon floating in the background just to distract you from what I was talking about. Now the neighbor's dog is barking. On cue. That's okay. We'll get through this. Anyways, so as Mercury goes into retrograde, it really starts to highlight all of the problems. Any communication problems, dishonesty, any issues in our technology. I always make the joke with people. I'm like, oh, it's that time again. I got to call on Loki and to the chaos gods and the energies of chaos. Because right now, as we're spinning, I feel like we're spinning into chaos. For me, I always call in more chaos and help settle things out. You know, it's just different for each practitioner. So as Mercury goes into retrograde and all of these things are getting put into our face, and like, oh, you had this argument, or you don't understand what they're saying and they don't understand. So this is going to be a topic we talk about with all of the retrogrades, because there's quite a few retrogrades right now, and they're each going to highlight a different challenge, a different problem, a different lesson that needs to be learned. Lesson is such a better way to look at it, because then it's way more productive and you don't feel like you're hitting a wall. You actually can feel like you can do something productive about it. So in nature, in the elements, in the spirits, and the energies, there's not a lot of like, let me hold your hand and say this in the nicest way possible. It's not very often that you're gonna get like a nice, oh, it's okay, let me usher you through this calmly and gently and with great confidence and security. The unfortunate reality of the situation is that Mother Nature is just that. The energies are just that, and they don't feel the need to it came back, see? Oh my goodness. Gotta love Mercury. That's okay, just be patient. Mercury teaches us patience. And for many of that's really hard. So as the video lost connection and I'm getting clients calling me and texting me, it's because the energies know that I'm live and they're like, oh, let's bombard this. So you just have to have patience. Wait it out a second, let things settle, be patient. And that's one of the big lessons that I think people miss from the Mercury retrograde, because they're so busy seeing the challenges and the problems and the issues and the complications and the computer breaking down and all of those things. But sometimes I found that if a document doesn't save, or the computer doesn't work, or something horrible happens, like the connection was just lost and now it's back, really what it is it's just saying that this isn't right and you need to go in a different direction. Here is a problem, now look for a solution. And that's the transition that you have to make. While Mercury is in retrograde and it's transitioning, you have to transition with that. Like, see the challenge, like the wind, be patient, and then it'll work itself out. Now, Mercury's not the only planet in retrograde right now. So if it was just Mercury, it'd be easy to be like, okay, it's just Mercury. You'll have a little trouble communicating. You'll feel like nothing's working out. But it'll go away in November. We'll work through this. But back in September, we had Mars go into retrograde. Now, Mars is a really fiery, outward energy. And when Mars goes into retrograde, it really points out all of these things that you want to redo. Like, oh, I wish I had a redo on that, or can I start over, or where can I burn that up and just, like a phoenix, start over again? So that can really make you feel like you need to be doing something about these things. So you have Mars that's been in retrograde for a minute now, about a month, and has been telling us, hey, look at all these things that you could have done better. Look at all of this stuff that could have worked out better. Look at this, look at this, look at this. That can be pretty defeating. I know a lot of people are feeling like, oh, they're just throwing my failures in my faces. And that's not what Mars is doing, because Mars is actually showing you the things that you can, in an essence, have a redo of. You can fix this, you can try again, you can work through this, you can make the needed changes and still succeed. So we had that start, and then we have Mercury going into retrograde, which is like, hey, you can't communicate, nothing's going to work out, technology is going to freak out everywhere. So that's on top of that. Then right now we also have Uranus, whatever, however you say it, Uranus in retrograde, which can make you feel really restless, because Uranus, so close to the end there, is looking for a transition. It's looking for change. It's looking for something to happen. And so it's looking for a big change, not even just little change, but big change. And so that's making you apprehensive, or like, oh, there's something about to happen. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I need this to happen. I need something to reset. So we have Mars saying, look at all these things that you could have done better. Mercury saying, look at all these places you're having challenges. Uranus making you feel very restless, like you need to do something about something. Like, I gotta do it. Okay? Then we have Neptune in retrograde. Now, Neptune is a spiritual planet. It makes you feel like it's got this fluid, softer, flowing energy. And when it goes into retrograde, it makes you want to cleanse. It makes you want to, clean everything out, start over. And we're in the fall, so we also have that, like, reap what you sow and cleanse and let's move forward. So it's like all of these energies accumulating to be like, hey, here's all of the problems. Here's the things that you could do better. Clean out your closets, clean out your brain, clean everything out. Get it done. Go do it. And so if it was a situation you could, like, stand back and look at and be like, okay, super easy. I need to do these things to clean out my closet and get it done and whatever, bam, easy. But life's never easy. Nothing is in a vacuum. It's not like one thing, oh, okay, I'm having some financial difficulties. I will focus on my finances. I'll look at the challenges that Mercury's pointing out. I'll look at the things that Mars is saying, hey, you could have done a better job here. I'll put those together. I'll make this great financial plan. Clean out my old habits. And we'll move forward with, like, magic. And then I won't have any more financial problems. So yeah, I mean, in an essence, you could totally do that. You could put all this energy to use it very focused like that. But unfortunately, nothing is in a vacuum. So you don't have like your finances in this vacuum where they're only, oh, look, smashes. Oh, and then I wiped it on my forehead. Anyways, so we don't have that in a vacuum where we can just focus on that one thing. It's all over the place. So here's where the next energy comes into play. Right now, the moon is waning and it's in Virgo, which kind of gives us that grounding. It's helping keep us stable through all of these retrogrades. And then it's going to transition into Libra for the dark moon. And this is going to make you want to achieve your goals. It's going to help you find a little bit of harmony and balance in all of this retrograde and all of these things that are going on. And it's going to help you kind of feel a little more secure. But the whole reason I wrote everything down, so with the Mercury's in retrograde and the dark moon and all of that stuff, there's still more going on in the sky. So right now, and for a while now, Saturn and Pluto have been conjunct, which means from our perspective, they look like they're next to each other in the sky. So if you had a telescope and you could see Saturn, you could then adjust slightly, and it'd actually be fairly easy right now to find Pluto, even though it's really small. So when they come together, it brings on this transformative energy, but instead of it dealing with self, like with Mercury or Mars or Venus, it has to do with society. Saturn rules over society and that social issues and being around other people and justice and that kind of thing. And then Pluto rules over transformations, and not just little transformations, but like major transformations. A lot like that Mars with the fiery energy. Pluto also has that fiery energy. It's often associated with death, which is why the transitions are so major. It's not like a small thing. So with those being together, they're creating this calling for there to be a major transformation in society. And it's pretty obvious. This right now in our current state has a lot to do with racial tensions, and also tensions between the poor and the rich, and the economic differences, but a lot in power. It's this power struggle between those who have and those who have not. And I think that a lot of people will label the have-nots differently, but I think we could put all the have-nots in one pile, because all the haves, we would all agree on their definition, and they would be here, and then the rest of us would be down here. And that's the struggle. And this is an eternal. I don't think this is going to be something that goes anywhere until someday everybody has reached the state of enlightenment where power and greed no longer are major influencing factors in our society. But so right now Pluto is calling for a change, and together with Saturn, it's of our society, and so it is beckoning that change. We're feeling a lot of that, and this is something that's going to happen for an extended period of time. They'll be next to each other for a while, and so that's why this is such a major change. Oh, it's getting cold now. See, the smoke has completely covered the sky. It's pretty crazy. So that is also right now, Saturn and Pluto are trine with the moon. So just having Saturn and the moon trine which means in astrology, means that they make a triangle with the Earth, the moon, and Saturn, and they are, this is kind of like a heavy feeling. It makes you really see the responsibilities and the feelings that you have that you need to do something for other people or for society or for those around you, your community, your family, whatever. So this makes you really feel like burdensome, and you feel that burden. So if we take a recap, we have Mars in retrograde telling us that here's all of the things that you could do better. Have Mercury in retrograde as of today that's just going to throw a fork anywhere that there's a problem. And it's like, so you're not communicating very well with that person. Let me throw a fork in it. All the same time, Mars is like, hey, you could do this better. And then Uranus is in retrograde, which is making you feel like you need to do something about all of this. It's restless, change, something needs to happen. That's feeding off of this Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and the trine with the moon, which is making you feel this burden that you have to do something about. There has to be a change to make you feel like you're not being weighed down by the pressures that society is putting on you, all while society is trying to change. And then Neptune comes in with this fluid cleansing energy, and it's like, it's time to wash all this away. Let's make something better. All while the moon is transitioning from Virgo, where we feel kind of grounded, into Libra, where we feel this balance and, again, more of that fluid energy and change and harmony, but also justice. And so all of this kind of comes together, and it's like that nagging energy that's like, hey, let me point out all the things you're doing wrong and how you could do them better, and not give you any help, just tell you what's wrong and make you feel like you need to do something about it, all while feeling the pressure of society weighing down on you, telling you to do a better job. So when you can't sleep, or you're having trouble, sorry, my papers are now trying to blow away. You're having trouble focusing, you're having trouble getting through the day, this astrological energy on top of just the societal pressure of the pandemic and being all of these crazy things and the election coming up, and oh my God, there's just so much going on. But take a minute to step back, call on that Libra energy to help you ground and to help you find some harmony, and to remember that harmony is not, harmony and balance are not like a teeter-totter, like the scales of the Libra, but it's more like I don't know, many of you aren't old enough, maybe some of you are, but there used to be this toy, and it was a ball, and it had this ring all around it, and you could stand on it, and it was like Saturn, but you would teeter on it, and you could anyways, that's always what I think of when I think of balance, because it's not just one way or the other, but it's forward and back and all around, and figuring out how to fit all these different things together. So if you take a moment to relax, get out your journal, your book of shadows, wherever you keep your notes, and start making notes. What are the thoughts that keep coming to me that are saying, you could do this better, you could do this again, look at how you did this wrong so that you can do it again. Because again, the energies are very straightforward. I guess there are more maternal, nurturing, like hand-holding type. I've just never met them. I've never worked with them, I guess. I was trying to think of one specifically that was like super nice. And maybe if you have one, you can comment down below. People who need that little bit of extra love can call on that deity to help them. But in reality, the deities are just going to tell you. The energies are just going to tell you. They're going to say, here is the problem. Right here. Right in your face. And I think that's why a lot of people get overwhelmed when they start working with magic and they start doing things, because, the energies will just tell you, you need to do it like this so that you can succeed. And that can be overwhelming. And especially right now with so many planets in retrograde and so much going on with Saturn and Pluto and trine and the dark moon, and we're coming up on the energy of Samhain, which the veil is being lifted. So for those who are more sensitive, you're gonna be seeing and feeling and hearing all of these energies that are getting restless and ready to communicate. They're looking for their ancestors. They're waiting for the altars to be created so that they can come inside. They're waiting for their offerings. Those who have trouble crossing over, that are not here as like malice energy, I feel like this is a time of year where they also look forward to it, and they're excited and they want to participate and they want to get offerings. Like, can you see the energy? They're like, yes, leave me some offerings. So, you know, that energy is present too, and I think that can make people feel anxious. So, you just have to relax. You have to take a deep breath. You have to know that these things are being pointed out and brought to you because they're the things that need to come to you. They're the things that you need to learn. They're the things that you need to write down, especially right now before Samhain, before we get to the darkest time of the year when we do kind of our energies turn inward. This is a really good time for all of this because it's pointing out all of the things that you're going to need to be working on through the dark times of the year and through winter to come through on the other side and through the transition and the cycle so that your energy can also be reborn new and better and greater, and we can go into the next year better. So get out your journal, write down what Mars is telling you that you could be doing better at. Write down where Mercury has thrown a wrench in your problems. Be specific too. Sometimes it's a specific file name, or it's a specific conversation or person or whatever that you need to be writing about. So be specific when you're writing these lists. Write down what's making you restless, what's making you feel anxious. You know, not just, you know, the obvious of like the pandemic and life and the future and the elections. I mean, you can jot those on there, but aside from those things, what's making you anxious? And then what's making you feel like you need cleansed? Where do you need to wash some stuff away? Where are you feeling a burden? And even maybe jot down your ideal society, just to put that energy out there into the world to be like, there's my 2 cents into the bucket. I imagine we'd be surprised if everybody put their 2 cents into the bucket. We could do like a worldwide spell where it's like, everybody put your 2 cents into the bucket on what you think would make a better world, and then out would come something better. I think that sounds like a great idea. We should work something like that. But journal all of these things so that you can review it, you can look at it, and you can start to see, okay, well, all of these things are pointing at my finances. Obviously, I need to work at my finances. All of these things are pointing at this person or this situation or this energy, and that's what I need to be focusing on, and that's where the change needs to be happening, and go from there. And as a final note, I just have to say, make sure that you are voting. Make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure that you go down and you do all of the things that your local government is asking you, because voting is very, very important. And just like I said about the 2 cents in the bucket about a better society, your vote is that 2 cents into the society, and it does make a difference. Please also read your blue books that the government sends out that tell you what each of the ballot issues actually says. They are specifically written to be confusing and misleading, and make sure that you're reading that little blue book, big blue book, however it comes to you in your area. It's a blue book, and it says Your Guide to Voting. And it'll have each amendment and ballot issue and all of that stuff laid out. Some states even give out like the voting history of the people who are on the ballot so that you can see that. But make sure you're reading all of the things on your ballot. Make sure you know what you're voting for. Don't be confused when it says, hey, we're going to give you a tax credit, unless you really know what all the fine print is on that. And that way you can be an educated voter, and you can make the choices that are best for you, and you can put your correct 2 cents in the bucket so that we can all vote, and we can make the changes that we need to make in order to achieve the society we want to live in. So that's my final note. With all the crazy that's going on in the world and in the skies and in the energy around us, with the fall coming and the energy is transitioning, and we're about to come up on this thin veil, There is just so much animated, anxious energy. Take that time, deep breaths, journal, relax. We're going to get through this. And just know that you wouldn't be getting these things unless it was something you were supposed to be dealing with. So, I hope everybody has a great day. There's so much ash in my coffee. That's okay, I love coffee. I'll still toast to you. I toast to you and all you do. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic Wednesday. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, don't forget to check out the groups and the podcasts and all of the other things that's going on around these Prairie Land parts, because it's pretty amazing. There's links and YouTube channels and all kinds of stuff. So please check everything out. Don't forget to click around, and we hope you all have a fantastic day. Many blessings.